And we are live.
Hey.
Thank you, Russell, for being here. Guys, if you don't know Russell Brunson, he needs no introduction. Russell Brunson is the author of .com Secrets, Expert Secrets, and finally he came to write the book Traffic Secrets. He's the person who, is the category king of sales funnels and totally dominated and brought sales funnel to the entire new level. Russell, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me. This is exciting.
Thank you so much for being here with us. So, Russell, what actually sparked you and inspired you to actually come up with this book, Expert Secrets? Because I've been following you. You've been saying you're pretty tired of writing books, and so what made you write Traffic Secrets?
Yes, writing books is very hard for anyone who's ever written one. It takes so much energy, but it's also very fulfilling afterwards when it's all done and you get to talk about it with people. But it's interesting because some people know I own a company called ClickFunnels, and so we help tons of entrepreneurs from all around the world. We have over 100,000 members right now, so I get a really cool bird's eye view to see what's happening, what people are doing, what's working, what's not working. And I think one of the biggest things I've noticed over the last couple of years is that a lot of people are starting to figure out the internet business and having some success, and they're doing well, but a lot of people are struggling because they either have one way they get traffic, or they can't figure out how to get traffic. Or some people they were getting traffic from Facebook for a while, but their ads account got shut down or something happened, and then they're struggling. They can't figure out how to recover. And I've been doing this business now. I think this is my 17th year, which is kind of crazy. And in that time, I've gone through a whole bunch of different waves where Google was really easy, and then it got, they had the Google slap where it got really hard. And then it was like SEO was really easy. And then there was like 4 or 5 different Google slaps in SEO that changed everything. And during that time, I've seen so many businesses who come online, they have a bunch of success, and then like a slap happens or something happens and their whole business collapses. My biggest thing right now is I really want to prepare business owners, entrepreneurs to be able to get more traffic from different locations, so that Facebook account gets shut down or ad costs go up, it doesn't mean they're going to lose their business. And especially right now, we're in this crazy economic time where everyone's freaking out and people are stuck at home, and it's like learning these skills, learning how to get traffic is I think the most important thing people can really learn and master right now. So that's why I wrote the book, and it took 18 months to do it. Now it's finally here, and we finally get to talk about it, which is so much fun.
Wow, amazing. And then I think you spent like more than about 7 days in the audio studio recording all the audio 3 books again, right?
Yes. I don't know if you've ever done that before, but get in a little tiny chair in a little room, and you're just sitting there for 8-10 hours a day, reading reading the whole book. Takes forever, but we got it done.
Yeah. So writing the book like Traffic Secrets, and the thing is not only writing a book, but writing a book on traffic and make sure it lasts the stand of time. So what is your psychology of actually writing the book and thinking about traffic in the sense where it lasts the stands of time, like something which it's evergreen?
Yeah, that was my biggest fear. It's funny because I sat for probably a year. I knew I was going to write this book, and I didn't dare write it because I was so scared of how do you write something about a topic that changes all the time, right? And I started thinking back, how did I learn about traffic initially? And it's funny because when I got started online again 17 years ago, this is before Facebook, before MySpace, before friends, way back there, when we were getting started. And I was trying to learn this stuff, and there weren't a lot of people teaching internet marketing. There weren't mastermind groups and seminars and all these things happening. And so I was trying to figure things out. And so I was trying to find some mentors, and I ended up joining a mastermind group with some of these old school marketers like Dan Kennedy and Bill Glazer. And it's funny because I was the only internet guy in the group, and they used to always tease me. I remember they'd bring an envelope to the meetings, like, Russell, this is an envelope. People send it in mail. You can actually touch it. Have you ever heard of these? And just teasing me about it, And I remember one of the meetings, one of the guys, I can't remember who it was, but they said to me, the problem with most of you internet guys is you think that the internet is a business. It's like, the internet's not a business. The internet is a media channel, just like radio or TV or direct mail or magazines. They're media channels. And he said, when you look at it as a media channel, the internet's just a media channel. It follows the same rules as all the other media channels. And I remember he said that. I was like, interesting. So I started learning, studying direct mail and studying radio. And we ran to radio, we ran direct mail, trying to learn the game. And then we took those things online. And when Facebook came out, I was like, oh, the strategies and the principles that worked over here, they're the same here. Everyone thinks they're different, but they're not. They're very similar. So when I started writing this book, I wanted to kind of take a step back from what most people do when they talk about traffic, which is how to log into the ad editor and how to do your targeting and things like that. And we talk about that stuff a little bit, but I wanted to go a step a step back and like help you understand the strategy, because Facebook may come or may go, and it's funny because people are like, that's not possible. I'm like, no, like I remember MySpace was huge. Like, this is the biggest thing in the world. And then a year later it was gone. Right. And it keeps happening and it keeps shifting. And so it's preparing yourself for whatever the next thing is, so that when TikTok, as we know now, like TikTok wasn't even a thing when I wrote this book, and now it's like this huge thing. But the principles you learn inside Traffic Seekers apply to TikTok, they apply to Twitch, they apply to any network that comes out. And so when you understand these things, like it gives you stability where wherever the market shifts, wherever people's eyeballs and attention shift to, you know how to go there and then go and capitalize on it and get traffic coming for back to your websites and your funnels from there.
Amazing. So, what is the one thing which you actually, if you will look back, what's the one thing that you think that you would like to understand about traffic better? You wish that you could have known earlier.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think when you guys have a chance to go through the book, it's funny because the first chapter, in fact, I talk about it in the beginning of all three of the books because it's like so important. And it's like the piece that I missed when I first got started. Excuse me. When I first got started, I think I did like most entrepreneurs do, where we have an idea for a product or a thing, and or we get an idea for a business. So we create the product, and then we have this product, we're like, nobody's buying it. So we I need to make a sales message. You create a sales message to sell the product, and then nobody's still buying it. And then you're like, I need to go find traffic and find people to go and sell this to. And that's the problem. Most people, they never find they never find the traffic. And my first 4 or 5 businesses that I had, that's how it always was like, I would have the idea, create the thing, and then go look for customers. And the problem with that is a lot of times you don't find the customers, or you create something the customers don't actually want. And so what I wish I would have known when I first got started is kind of reverse engineering this, where the first step in the process is finding the traffic, right? Like before I even have an idea to create any kind of like business or product or anything, I can find the traffic first, right? And so I go and I find, okay, where who are my dream customers and where are they hanging out? I'm going to look where are the blogs at that they read? Where are the podcasts they listen to? Where are the, I'm trying to figure out where they're already at. And then I find those communities, those congregations of people. And then I go and I try to listen, what is it they actually want? What are they trying? What are their frustrations? What are their pain points? And I listen really carefully. And then they tell me what they want me to create. Okay. Like for example, ClickFunnels, literally, it wasn't like, Russell's a genius. He had this great idea for this thing called ClickFunnels. Like, no, I was in the communities and everyone's trying to build funnels. We're just like, this is really hard. This is expensive. My web guy just quit again, all these things. And so we're listening we should make software that makes this easy, right? My very first book, the same thing. I was just listening to, I knew where the traffic was. It was eventually going to buy this book. And I went and just listened, what are they struggling with? People are like, I don't understand funnels. I don't understand how this works. And they couldn't get it. So I was like, I'm going to write a book that explains how this whole funnel thing works. Right. So I listened to the audience and then I created the book. And the same thing after this book was done, they went to the audience and people were like, I have this funnel, but nobody's buying. And I did a webinar and nobody's signed up, and they're talking about it. I'm like, their problem isn't now that they don't know how to do a funnel. They don't know how to convert on a funnel, how to tell their story. So I listened, I was like, this is what they need next. So I made this book. And Traffic Seekers, the same thing. I'm listening to the traffic, listening to people, and they're like, my ads account got shut down. I can't figure out how to get ads. My, Google ads are too expensive. All these things. I was like, the next thing they need is this. So I think if I could have gone back to my very beginning, Russell, and grab him by the shoulders and say, don't create a product first. Go find your audience, find where they are, and then just listen to what they want, and then create that thing. That's what they really want.
Right, exactly. So finding something that people already want and they need, and then, trying to intercept that market, not trying to create something that you think that people actually want. Yeah. That's a really, really good point. So, imagine, Russell, let's say if, you were to choose one platform to actually dominate traffic on, then only go and, multiple on other platforms. Which would that one platform be? And show exactly why. Why would you choose that one platform?
Oh, that's a good question. And I think my answer might be different than everybody else's. And so I want to kind of caveat that way. I would say the first thing I would figure out, and I'll tell you mine as well, but for each of you guys individually, is figure out which platform you understand the best. When you're on your phone or on your computer, where do you you listen to a lot of podcasts? If so, that's where I would start. If you like watching videos on YouTube, you should start there. Whatever, figure out what platform you natively consume the most and start there, because you're going to understand the language of it. One good example, I remember about 2 or 3 years ago, we decided I want to become good at YouTube. We didn't done anything YouTube yet. So we went to YouTube and I made over 100 different videos I thought were going to be amazing. And we posted them over over 5 or 6 months. And they didn't do that. Did it all right, but nothing great. And I was like, why is this not working? And I realized that I don't actually use YouTube. I'm not a guy who spends time on YouTube. I never open the app. I never watch videos. I remember coming home one night being frustrated. I remember sitting on the couch in our other room, and my kids are obsessed with YouTube. So they're on TV and they're watching YouTube videos. I remember stopping. I'm like, I'm going to watch my kids watch YouTube. So I started watching them, and I'm watching my kids, like what they're looking at, what they're clicking, what things they skip past, like what keeps their attention and what things they drop off. And I start watching these things. And also I'm like, I made all my videos wrong. Like, because I don't consume on YouTube, I didn't understand like the language and how people like interact on YouTube. And when I watch my kids, I watch them for like 3 or 4 hours that night. I was like, I think I know like how to make a video now. And I went back, made a really cheap video, but I followed the framework and the process. I saw that my kids like connected with, posted that video. I got like 80,000 views in the first week. And I was like, oh, like I missed it because I didn't understand the platform. So for all of you guys, like I would look at like, what's the platform you understand the most? And then start there. So for me personally, my favorite platform still is podcasting. Like I just love podcasting because like you think about when somebody listens to a podcast, it's usually in like their most intimate times. Like I'm going to go work out. So they plug you into their ears and you have their attention for 30 minutes or an hour, or I'm going to go drive somewhere. So they plug you in, or I'm laying down in bed. And it's like you get this undivided attention on a podcast. And also if you look at like just podcasts, people who listen to podcasts traditionally make a lot more money than someone who doesn't. So it's usually really good audience, a lot of intimate time where you have personal one-on-one time with them in their mind, in their most intimate moments. And it's a powerful medium to really build connection with people. So it's probably still my favorite.
Understand. So find something which you're more used to, and then go and dominate that. And for you other guys, for guys who are listening right on now, go ahead and check out Traffic Secrets podcast. If you didn't know there was a podcast, Russell just launched his Traffic Secret podcast. I'll drop the link later. So go ahead and check his podcast, right? So cool. All right, cool. So with all that being said, right? So with the thing about traffic and finding, the thing about when I actually read through the sales page of Traffic Secrets, I saw it's not only getting traffic, but actually finding your dream customers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, like, so many people, are doing affiliate marketing. So many people are, selling info products, right? So how do you advise one person the best way to actually, carve out their own specific niche or their own specific category? If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think it's funny because most people, when they hear traffic, they think these technical things. And it's like traffic are really, when you really boil it down, it's just people like me and you, right? Like we're just people. So it's understanding that first off, like who is your dream customer? And then for me, it kind of comes back to what we talked about earlier, like who's your dream customer? Where are they congregating? And I go to these congregations and listening, but I like looking in there and say, okay, here's all these customers that are passionate about marketing or fitness or, whatever your business is. And then I start looking around, and like each of these little markets is like an ecosystem. So I would kind of picture it like I live in Boise, Idaho, and in Boise, downtown Boise, they have a farmers market every Saturday. So what happens is that all of the vendors go to the farmers market, and they all set these little booths, and they have and there's a person selling candles, there's a person selling jams and jellies, and someone selling pictures and music, and there's all these little booths everywhere, right? And so for us, like we go down to downtown Boise and we walk around the market and we see all the cool things people have. And so you think about that in the internet, it's the same thing. Like there's all these congregations of people are marketplaces, right? There's a marketplace with all these people in it. And so you look at like imagine like you're in downtown Boise and you're gonna go set up shop. Like if there's like a candle store and would you go set up a candle store right next to it? Like no, now you got 2 candle stores. Like now you're competing and you may make some money, but you're not gonna win. Like the way you win is go and say, okay, what's everyone else's store? Okay, like that person's got this, that person has this, but like what's the need that's missing? Like what's the thing that I could bring that's different than what everybody else has? And then you create that, and that's the thing you put in, and that becomes you carve out your little spot inside the ecosystem. And so for me, it's like going to the market and like looking like, hey, looking at all the different people who's selling stuff to this marketplace. What are they selling? Like what's already happening? And then looking, okay, like how can I carve out something that's my own, that's different? That's, maybe it might be similar, but it's going to be different where it's going to be unique to me. Like you said, where I can be the category king, where I can be the only person selling this thing inside this marketplace. When we launched ClickFunnels now 5.5 years ago, the marketplace was very loud and noisy with tons of different marketing software and tools and automation and stuff. And they were all doing different pieces. There's email people, and then there's text message people, and then there's split testing software, and there's landing page builders, and there's shopping carts. There's all these little things. We're like, well, what's unique to us? Like, what are we different? And we're like, well, there's nobody that does. There's people do all the pieces, and you can glue together things and make a sales funnel. But we're the only people. Like, what if we were the ones that made the sales funnel? Where like that was the thing. We're the best in the world at is building the funnel. And And so that became our thing. And we were the only, if we were going to downtown Boise market, we were the only ones with a booth selling sales funnel software. And so because of that, we dominated and grew really, really quickly. Whereas I could have came and said, I'm going to build landing page software. And it's like, okay, well, there's 12 people doing landing page software. Now I'm competing against 12 other people. When you do it this way, you kind of create your own category, your own little niche, and then you can dominate the market and grow a lot faster.
Wow, amazing. So seeing what people actually already want and need, and then seeing what's actually the gap in the market, and then combining that and coming up with your own category.
Yeah.
Got it. Amazing. So Russell, like we are talking so much about traffic right now. So, what do you think is the, one biggest mistake or one of the biggest thing that people, make with traffic, like the biggest mistake or problem people have with traffic?
Yeah, there's so many problems people have with traffic. I think the biggest one is that, I think the perception of what traffic is typically wrong. Like people think like I have to go create traffic, and they're trying to figure out how do I create traffic, and they're trying to figure, like the word create is what I hear a lot of times. People like I got to create traffic, and it's like understanding like you don't have to create traffic at all. Like traffic's already there. People are already on the internet. Your job is not to create traffic. The goal of us marketers is to figure out like where's the traffic already at, right? It's already there. It's already happening. And so our job is to come like find okay, here's a stream of traffic. I'm going to come out there and I'm going to throw my hooks in and pull people out, right? So like, for example, let's say you're selling something to health and fitness people. So I go to Facebook and it's like, there's however many, 5 billion people on Facebook or whatever. But of that, maybe there's 100 million that are interested in health and fitness. And so they're there and they're already hanging out on all these groups and forums, and they're talking and they're all sorts of stuff. So I don't have to create traffic. It's already there. So Mark Zuckerberg's already made the traffic. It's there. Our job is to come over and say, okay, how do I get these people's attention? And so we talk about, in chapter 4, I think I talk about this concept that called hook, story, offer, which is like, okay, there's the traffic. I'm not trying to create it. I'm saying, hey, there's traffic there. Let me throw a hook out there and get their attention. And then, and so the formula we talks about is hook, story, offer. So the hook is how you grab their attention. And after you get their attention for a minute, then you have this window where you can actually tell them a story. And the goal of the story is to increase the perceived value, whatever you're selling. And then at the end, you make the offer, which is the product. So I always try to think of my people. I always picture like them sitting on their phone, on the couch, like bored, like swiping through. And this is like a whole bunch of people in the river, just all swiping through Facebook. And then I'm coming and saying, okay, I need to get them and stop their attention while they're in the middle of this swipe, right? So what do I create? Is it an ad or a headline or a video or something where it's like, it's going to grab their attention just for a second. And then that's my ad. I'm throwing out these little hooks. And hopefully if I do a good job, it'll grab their attention just for a second where they're swiping, they stop like, what was that? And then you have your moment. And they click on it, and now you got this little window of time to try to tell them a story. And the goal there's kind of 2 basic goals of the story. The first goal is to build a connection with you, right? To build a relationship with you so they'll like you and they'll want to buy from you again. And the second one then is to increase the perceived value, whatever it is you're selling. So you look at like just this interview, for example, right? Like the people that are watching right now, you guys are on Facebook and you were probably doing whatever. And all of a sudden you got a notification that was like, hey, Joshua and Russell are going live right now. So that was a hook, right? And you're like, wait, what is this? So you clicked it and you popped in here. Right now we're telling a story. And hopefully from the story, you guys are building connection with both of us, right? And you guys are like, oh, these guys are cool. They're sharing a bunch of cool stuff. And so we build connection. That's number 1. And number 2, we're increasing the perceived value of what we want to offer, right? So obviously I want to offer you guys this book. I think everyone should buy it. But if I just like tell you, go buy the book, you're like, why? So right now we're telling these stories, talking about traffic and how it works. And like, we're telling stories to increase the value where you're just like, I have to have that book. It seems so valuable, right? So my stories are increasing the value. And at the end of this, we'll be like, you guys should go get a copy of the book. And that's the process. That's what we do over and over and over and over again. That's all. That's really what marketing is like finding the traffic, throwing out a hook, telling them a story, and then making them an offer. That's the game.
That's really profound. Like from one word, from switching from creating, from creating into finding, right? Finding the traffic. That one keyword changes everything. Wow, amazing. Yeah. So Russell, like I think I was like, YouTubing, how to win affiliate contest, and I saw one of your videos on the contest where you actually won the cryosona, was it?
Yes.
Mind sharing some insights on how you actually dominate affiliate contests?
Yes, for sure. It's kind of a funny story on that. It was one of my friends. He was launching a new software thing, and he wanted, he asked me to promote. And I was like, I can't promote. And then, and he showed me the prizes, and the top prize was like some car for like $50,000. I was like, I don't need another car. I'm good. And then he's like, well, I can give you cash. I was like, I don't really want the cash either, because this is going to go in the business, and like, it doesn't really, I never see it. And I was like, wait a minute. this thing that I want is called the cryo sauna. Some of you guys, if you don't know what it is, you can Google it. But it's these like freeze tanks. You get in there, you have the liquid nitrogen, and it freezes your body. And it's, but like my wife would never let me get, like, she would think I was crazy if I wanted to buy one. I was like, but if I win one, she can't say no. So I was like, okay, if I win this, instead of giving me a car, I want a cryo sauna. He was like, you are so weird. So he's like, that's the plan. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. So what I did, and there's a lot of ways to win an affiliate contest, but a couple of things that worked really good, especially in this campaign, is number one is whoever's selling the product has an offer, right? So it's like like if you buy the product, you get this, and then there's the offer. And so what I always tried to look at is, okay, like that offer's probably good, but like what are the gaps? Like what are the things that it's missing? What are the things that I have unique that I can add to this offer to amplify it and make it even better? So for his, he had webinar software, but like that was it. So I was like, well, I'm good. I have a webinar script that I use. I have, I have a format. I have a process. I have a whole bunch of things tied to webinars. I have videos of me teaching my webinar formulas. I had seminars I did. So I had all this stuff I created in the past teaching webinar stuff. And so I was like, if you buy the webinar software over here, I'm going to give you this. And then I had like a stack of like 20 different things that maybe like five or six things that you also get for free when you buy this. And all of a sudden, the value, there's already a lot of value here, but now this just increased the value even more. It's like, oh my gosh, like I have to have that thing. And so that was the first step, was to make the offer even more valuable. And then people will like seek you out and buy from you versus everybody else. The second thing is, in fact, I tell this story in the Expert Secrets book, is I needed, when he talked to me into promoting his product, there's only 2 days left in the affiliate contest. So I was like way behind. Everybody else was beating me. I was like, how do I get this out fast? And I was like, I could write a webinar and like do a webinar, but I'm like, I don't have time. It's only 2 days. And so we call it the perfect webinar hack, where basically we took the webinar script from the Expert Secrets book, and I did it in like 3 minutes. I like mapped out on a whiteboard this stuff. And then we went live on like Facebook Live, and it was like Facebook Live. I think we had, back then it was like, there's Periscope. There's a couple different systems of all my team members all holding phones like up and just go on all of them. And I did like a perfect webinar live just right there in front of everybody. I was like, all right. And I went through the presentation. I shared my 3 secrets, and I made the offer. Like, if you buy his thing, you're gonna get this and this, and just made a really good offer. And I pitched it. I think the video is like maybe 30 minutes long. In fact, if you go back to my Facebook page, it's still posted. If you go back like a couple of years, you can see the video, which is kind of, I watched the other day. I was like kind of embarrassed, but anyway, so we did it. And then after it was live on Facebook, then we went and we bought ads. So we bought traffic. So it was the video was there, and people who were on my fan page already saw it, but I was like, okay, who else can I show this video to that might likely buy? And so I went and I found the person whose product I was selling. And so I targeted all his followers, because I was like, his followers already know about his software. If they haven't bought for some reason, let me be the one that gives them a better offer. So I targeted his people. I targeted other competitors in our industry. I targeted as many different people. So soon all of the following of all the people in our marketplace all saw my video making a better offer. And during the last 2 days, and the last 2 days, we ended up selling more than all the other affiliates, and won the contest and got the cryo sauna. And now I can go freeze myself in my house if I want to.
Epic stuff. Thanks for sharing that, man. Okay, Russell, one last question. Like, let's say if nobody knew you and you lost every single thing, right? What would you do to get traffic to, your office?
Yeah, man, I think if I was starting over, like, I'd probably do a couple different things, but the first one I do for sure, which I think is the easiest one, is I would go and find somebody who has, I would look like wherever my skill set is, right? So I'm really good at funnels, for example. So I'd say, okay, I'm really good at funnels. Let me find somebody else who's got something similar but different, right? Like the same customers would want it. And maybe I go to that person and say, okay, like let's say I find somebody who has got a really good product on, let's say it's personal development, right? So like, let's say Tony Robbins or someone like that, right? I can find someone who's got a list, who's got a following, and they have this, they have something, but they don't have what I have. And I say, hey, how about this? Let's create a product or an offer together, right? So like, I'll do the work to create the thing. We'll put both our names on it together, and then you can promote it to your audience. So they already have traffic, right? So I'm not looking for new traffic. They already have traffic. I go and I partner with them. I do all the work. I create a product. I co-brand it with them, and then they just tell their audience about it. So a good example is, if you guys know Jim Edwards, when we launched ClickFunnels, he came to me. He's like, Russell, this is the deal. I have all these scripts that I've made software for that makes it really easy to write sales letters and do all the stuff. He's like, what if we partner together? I'll do all the work. We're going to call it funnel scripts. It'll be Russell Brunson, Jim Edwards funnel scripts, and we'll co-brand it together. And I'll do all the hard work, but you just have to offer it to your audience, and we'll split the money 50-50. And I was like, sure. And in the last 3 or 4 years since we had that little partnership, Jim makes the software better every day, but that's all he does. And then my team, we buy ads to it. We sell it to our ClickFunnels members. And if you were at Funnel Hacking Live last year, you got a 2 Comma Club X award. So we've done over $10 million in that funnel. And so that's how we got traffic, by leveraging mine. So I'd be looking at, who do I partner with? I can create something, co-brand it, and leverage the traffic that they already have, because that's the fastest, easiest way to blow up a company very, very quickly.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Russell. I really appreciate your time for being here. And guys, if you have not already got the book yet, go ahead, get Traffic Secrets, and get the upsell as well, because you can get the Unlock the Secrets. That's a workbook, right?
Yes, you get the whole box set in the upsell flow. So the audiobooks, so if anyone wants to listen to audio, the audiobooks are in the upsell flow. This entire box set, which has got the new updated hardbound versions for all the 3 books, and the Unlock Secrets are in there, which is like the coolest thing ever. Anyway.
Right. And guys, don't forget to go and check out Russell's Traffic Secret podcast and go and follow him, and you'll get tons of value from him. Okay. Thank you so much, Russell. I really appreciate your time for being here, and peace out.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.